Hello, my loves. Thank you so much for your patience with me putting out this report for you all. Um, the new moon was yesterday. I was having some technical issues yesterday, and actually today feels much more spacious for me. So it's like, okay, there's a reason why I wasn't supposed to do it yesterday. And what I will be sharing with you today is actually for the whole lunar cycle. So yeah, I like to see the each lunar cycle as a whole journey, of a new beginning of the new moon and a rebirth, and then a waxing up to the first quarter moon, and then the fullness of the full moon, the waning of and then the third quarter moon, and then coming back again to the dark of the moon and the womb time, and then the rebirth. So it's a whole package. But the thing about this particular cycle in the lifetime sky and 13 star sign astrology that I use, and that many others use now, by the way, I'm not the only one. Yeah, so the new moon is in Virgo, was in Virgo yesterday on the 25th of September, last night in London time, 22:54. But because Virgo is such a large constellation, it takes 44 days for the sun to go through Virgo. So we get two new moons quite often in Virgo because of the length of the constellation and how long it takes for the sun to move through these stars. So it is a very long journey that we have with Isis, Virgo. And I really do connect this energy to Isis. All you have to do is look at this image, and to me, this speaks so much of Isis. And also, like, because there's the two moons or the two lunations in Virgo season, it's like there's two faces of this goddess or this energy. So you could see it as Isis, Queen of Heaven, and her twin sister Nephesis of the underworld, Queen of the underworld. Or you could see it as Virgin Mary, Virgo, and Mary Magdalene. Or you could see it as other option, Mother and Whore, like the light and the dark aspects of things. So this is why I feel like, I find it really interesting that we have two lunations in the stars of Virgo. And this year, the next new moon after this one, which will be on the 25th of October, is a solar eclipse in Virgo. And that will begin our eclipse season for the autumn and winter here in the north. So, and the eclipse season is incredibly potent this year, and I'm going to be sharing some more around that later in this cycle. Because it falls right over the Samhain portal, which in Druid lore is like the new year. It's when the seeds go in the soil. It's when the new life begins. So, many of us Druids who are still very traditional in that celebrate our new year at Samhain. It's really important celebration and holiday and Sabbath for us who are using the Celtic wheel of the year as our calendar. So for this new moon solar eclipse to be just before the Samhain portal and then the lunar eclipse to be just after it, it's actually going to be a blood moon in Aries, conjunct Uranus. So yeah, eclipse season is massive this season coming. So this will be our next new moon after this cycle. So it feels like this cycle is a really, really interesting cycle for attuning to the energies of Virgo, attuning to all of her different aspects, her light and her dark, and who she really is. And I feel like part of my reason I'm here and I'm sharing this is because I really tune into each constellation as an energy, as an archetype. And rather than reading a book of what it is, I want to feel it, and I want to feel how it comes to me, how it expresses itself to me. And so when I'm tuning into the energy of Virgo or Isis, this is the imagery that I receive. This is the picture that I've brought up for you all. So this is by an artist called Johfra Bosschart, and it's called The Door of Perception, this piece of art. When I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, this is it, and the reason that I really felt that is because she's at the door, and this could be like the galactic center, or this reminds me of the energy in Sagittarius, and this here reminds me of Libra in a way, and then you have the serpents here as well. And yeah, there's so much in this picture. I could spend a whole video just talking about this picture, but I think the reason why I wanted to share it with you is because it really connects like the swan wings that Isis has, and then the herbs in her hand, and then she has the light in her heart, which I also find really, really interesting, and then down at the bottom of the picture, I'm not sure if you can see, she's got lots of books and things. So coming back to Virgo and how she expresses through me, this is where my South Node is. So this is where I've been. This is my karma, my past lives. So Virgo, she is the priestess. She is the high priestess. She is the one who is basically bringing order to the temple. When we go back to Egyptian times, the Isis energy is like, she is the high priestess who governs all things. And, and she also is a medicine woman. So she's using the herbs, she's using the plants. She is an earth-based sign. But also Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and Mercury's, we all know Mercury's about our brain and our mind. So Virgo is very intelligent as well. So this is why I think this picture is perfect, because it's got all the books and all of the studies. She could be a naturopath or a herbalist, or some kind of medicine woman, or even a midwife, a doula. And lots of my friends who have got really strong alignment with Virgo in their chart are birth keepers and guardians of people giving birth. So that's very interesting. Or they might work with health and medicine and plants a lot of the time, or even like my more holistic view. When you think about you're working with the earth element of Virgo, and then the mind element of Mercury, it's like mind, body, spirit. So when we are connecting our body and our mind in a really conscious way, that's when we unlock connection to a higher realm than the spiritual realms. And then Virgo is in that regard like the channel, and she's bringing spiritual messages from the gods, Mercury, messenger of the gods, down through her temple. And so this is why the Virgo energy is really important about purification, and this is why Virgo gets this identity of like being really clean. And I think it's more to do with like how we take care of our bodies and what we put into our bodies. And so during this Virgo season, we may find that we want to really clear our bodies, clear our mind, and notice how, how we can get into negative thought patterns, or there might be stuff held in our body, or old traumas and pains and aches. So Virgo really is inviting us to come home to our temple, and that temple is us, our body. We are the temple. We are the high priestess, and it's our job now to take care of the temple so that messages from the gods can come in. And so I'm going to dive into the chart in a moment, but something that's really interesting about this new moon is that it's opposing Jupiter and Neptune. So it's like these are the gods, and they are coming down, and the energy is coming down into the temple of Virgo. So they are really wanting to bring their messages through, and Neptune and Jupiter are really about spirituality and higher vision and expanding into that infinite realms of consciousness. So when we have cleared our temple and we've purified, and we are feeling really clear, it's then, when we're in meditation and we're just so like at peace, and we feel like our whole being is just like radiating love, it's then that insight, that download will come. And so this is the invitation for these next few cycles, and also to do the work to clear what needs to be moved. What do we need to compost now? So we're in the harvest of the year. So this is the time when, you know, shit needs to go. And that is really useful stuff put back into the earth, you know, to bring nourishment and fertility to the soil. So that which we don't need anymore is useful somewhere else, you know, so it makes space for new to come in. So this time of Virgo is also about discernment. It's about choosing, you know, what feels like it's resonating with us. So you can imagine the herbalist going out onto the land, and she's collecting the flowers, and she's collecting the seeds, and she's harvesting all that she needs to take her into the winter. And in that process, you know, there's stuff that will be discarded, stuff that needs to be cleared, you know, and that is also reflective of our inner worlds, you know, inner patterns, inner ways of being that, you know, are ready to be cleared. And so there's many ways that we can do that, you know. You can do that by yoga, meditation, dance, shaking. You know, you could see Chinese medicine therapies, obviously anything like that, you know, and maybe just realigning our diet, eating more organic foods, drinking really clean, you know, charged up water. So there's so much that we can do, and we will notice a big difference in our being over these next few cycles if we're really bringing our focus back to health and our temple, and what does my temple need. And you know, we can be also cleaning our homes at this time wherever we're living, you know, really getting down on our knees and like pulling out all of the stuff from under the bed and dusting and, you know, shaking out the old rugs. And this is all really Virgo time, you know. So, and this is also in preparation for winter, you know, before we had central heating and stuff, you know, we was all like, this was our time when we're getting ready to nest and get warm and get all the wood in and all the supplies and get all the herbs and all of the food stored, you know, the harvest is in, and then it's like, yes, okay, now we rest. So this time of Virgo can feel quite busy because there is lots of work to be done, you know, before we can go, that was a good harvest. You know, so I definitely know for me personally this time of year is very busy because I also have two little cubs as well who yeah, are very, very high energy. So yeah, my windowsills are full of pumpkins and apples and herbs hanging everywhere in bundles and tinctures, and you know, I'm always making potions and things. So yeah, that's my South Node in Virgo. So that's the taste of what, you know, what this energy really is. And then I was also feeling, you know, the midwife energy here, you know, that actually this energy is right at the gateway of the cosmic womb of Sagittarius, because really when you think about it as a journey, like Virgo is mother to Persephone, who goes into the underworld. So this is another, oh yeah, another aspect, Persephone and Demeter. So when we're working with these two energies together, we can see that, you know, the harvest mother of Virgo is like that time of ripening, of harvesting of our lives, you know, before we prepare to meet with Libra, and then we get to weigh up our like that time of when we come to going into heaven, you know, or hell, however you want to see it. But you know, and then we meet with Scorpio, death, rebirth. So it's this time for me, she is at the gate. She is the guardian of the gate. She is the midwife. She is the one who's so in tune with rites of passage, crossing thresholds, life and death, birth, you know, like this is this energy now. And so when we're coming into our new moon solar eclipse, which will be on the 25th of October, you know, we have a whole lunar cycle of practicing about this energy. So when we're coming into our new moon solar eclipse, boom, you know, this is powerful magic time. We'll be doing rituals and ceremonies. We will be doing whatever, you know, and whatever feels aligned with our being, you know. And so I'm going to jump into the charts now because I want to show you a little bit more about what's going on from that perspective. I hope you like my funky background, by the way. Yeah, so here we go. So this is our new moon. I'm hoping you can all see that. This was yesterday's chart. You can go back in time a little bit just for the sake of a bit of information, can't we? Thank you, Mercury retrograde, for making us look back in time. So here we are. This is the new moon. And look, conjunct Mercury retrograde in Virgo, and Venus has just crossed over into Virgo as well now. So we've got a little party happening here. And if we go all the way up, we can see Jupiter, boom, opposing with Neptune as well. And these two actually are going to come together because they are both retrograde and Jupiter moves faster than Neptune. So they will be coming together soon. We can't remember when, but I remember seeing it in the charts that they are coming. They are coming together soon. But they are quite close now. And look at those numbers, 111. Seeds everywhere, seeds of beginnings. Yeah, so imagining that, you know, what is opposing this new moon, it's around our beliefs, it's around spirituality, and perhaps, you know, because we have got this what was I going to say, this trine. Yeah, so we've got this trine, a massive grand trine here, which is connected to the South Node in Libra. And Black Moon, Lilith, and Pallas over in Gemini. And this is a goddess Juno in Aquarius. So this is a grand air trine. So yeah, we could be feeling lots is moving in our minds. We could be feeling that our brain, Black Moon Lilith, is in the shadows. You know, we could have kind of shadowy, darker ideas around things, or to do with Pallas. Athena is justice and truth, you know, so there could be a lot moving in us right now around this, and it's to do with the past as well, South Node in Libra, and things that are needing to move on from the past. And this is also to do with Juno, our marriages and our commitments. So the trine is the grand trine especially, is a really fast moving energy. So we might find our thoughts are very kind of like racy, but it's helping us to move through something. Something needs to shift in our mental world, I would say, around, especially with Mercury retrograde as well. It's like going back to the past, things that have happened to us in past lives even, or when we was younger, old traumas and patterns that we're playing out throughout our life that keep repeating. We might notice them in our mind, and how our mind can then create that reality if we keep focusing on that. So the Virgo energy being around purification and cleaning things up, it's like when we have those thought patterns, you know, and those shadows in our mind, and things that want to, you know, go on and on and on into these stories, you know, how do we attend to that? How do we become conscious of that? You know, and that is the first step to changing it, is to see it, you know, and it's not something that happens instantly that you can say, right, I'm over that now, because it might still come back, you know, and then you'll be like, oh, there's that thing again, and then you notice it again, and then you can watch it. It's like you become the witness of our mind, and in doing that we become the master, you know, because we can choose. My little boy, he says to me, Mummy, you don't have to be angry. And I was like, wow, thank you, little 3-year-old teacher. But it's, you know, that anger also needs to be expressed in some ways as well, and released. It can be released in a really potent way. And you'll see as well that there's a big square to Black Moon, Lilith, and Pallas over in Gemini. So, you know, Gemini and Lilith together, it could be really much around our voice and what we're saying, or what somebody else has said to us, or like gossip, like over speaking, especially with like in square to Jupiter. Oh yeah, lovely T-square. I'm just kind of seeing these things as I'm talking, you know, T-squares, lessons. T-square with Chiron as well. lessons around our wounds. You know, we might be speaking from a very wounded place. Venus journeying with the sun and the moon and Mercury for the next few cycles. You know, we are being asked to, or invited to by Venus, to come home to our hearts and what's important to us and what we really care about, what we value, and also to our creativity, you know, what we want to create in this world. And she is going to be really helpful to us, you know, like, because she's journeying in the underworld now. Like those of you who follow the cycle of Venus will know about this. So we can't see her in the sky at the moment. So she is in her inner world, and she is like going to the depths of herself to retrieve lost parts of herself and to heal. You know, there's a real big invitation now with healing and health. And yeah, there's also Uranus over here and Pluto over here. If you look, they're also in a grand trine to the new moon and Mercury and Venus. So this is really, really potent because these two are both in fiery signs, that we could be feeling like quite explosive as well in our communications, quite argumentative, quite fiery. But you know, what is moving is like, it feels like to become the witness of ourselves and our the way that we are reacting, how reactive we are to things, and how when we react to things, how it is really, it's about our own inner world and what is being triggered in us from past lives or from our childhood and things that wants to be resolved. So yeah, so that's the new moon yesterday. And then moving to the first quarter moon, we have got the first quarter moon will be on the 3rd of October, and that's going to be in Sagittarius at 13 degrees. I love that number. Obviously, 13 star sign astrology. Yeah, so that will be in square to Mercury. Look at that. Wow, there's lots going on. I'm not going to go too deep into the first quarter moon and all the rest of the charts because I'm going to do a full moon report for the Hunter's moon in Pisces, which will be on the 9th of October. And obviously, yeah, that'll be conjunct Chiron. So like I was saying about healing, like the full moon is the fullness of the cycle. And it really is about everything coming into culmination. And then we start to wane away into the darker part of the cycle. So it's like the energy is building all the way through this cycle to be culminated with a full moon in Pisces conjunct Chiron. You know, this is the Hunter's moon. So this is really, really deep. It's just before Samhain as well. So it's a really big full moon, and it will be opposing the sun and Venus. Obviously, the full moon is always opposed to the sun, but Venus is journeying with the sun at the minute. So it's bringing real illumination to our heart. It's really going to be a big full moon, that. But I'm going to do another video on that for you all. So I'm not going to go too deep into that now. And the last quarter moon will be the 17th of October. Where are you? So then is conjunct Black Moon, Lilith, and Pallas and Gemini. Whew, big cycle, huh? So this is the waning of the cycle. So this is when we're starting to let go of things. Really, we might feel, hopefully, by the end of this cycle, as we get to our last quarter moon, if I say the date, 17th of October, you know, we're really starting to move on from things and say, okay, so like I saw this pattern at the new moon, you know, it came to its fullness at the full moon, conjunct Chiron. And now, you know, I'm in my last quarter moon. So Lilith has joined with the moon to help us let go. So we may be feeling around this time, you know, grief and tears and letting go, and maybe doing some rituals to release things, burning things in the fire, you know, like it's going to be a beautiful end to the cycle. That I feel like it's like she's coming to the moon. It's like Lilith is coming to the moon, and she's saying, you know, like okay, let's do some work here, let's do some magic, and we can let go of this. Because the last quarter moon is about letting go. It is the waning time. And then a quick look at the solar eclipse in Virgo. So the 25th of October is our solar eclipse. So I just wanted to show you a little quick thing around this. It's obviously still in Virgo again because the sun is still in Virgo, but you'll see it's right at the end of Virgo, 37 degrees, right near the end. So, but look, Mercury is direct, the sun and moon are together, and Venus is there too. And now they've joined with the South Node. So this solar eclipse is so much like around, like, because if you think about this new moon that's coming just now, yesterday was these four: Venus, Moon, Sun, and Mercury. So it's happening again. They're going to be together again. And so what have we learned, and what are we doing this cycle to prepare for the solar eclipse? And like I say, I'll do a more in-depth video around the eclipse season later on this month, just to go a little bit more deep into all of that. But also, this solar eclipse is in square to Pluto and in T-square to Black Moon Lilith. So you see here, we've got Black Moon Lilith over in Gemini, and then Pluto down here in Sag. So this is all in T-square to the solar eclipse. So it's going to be interesting. So this whole cycle, now that we're in, my invitation is to have a talk with our inner shadow, our inner Lilith, and to really see her as she's coming up. I was laughing with my friend Kim about this because my Lilith is in Cancer. So Black Moon Lilith at the moment is jumping between these two, Gemini and Cancer, in the sky. So I keep getting like these moments of real kind of like Lilith returning and feeling just so like, ah! Yeah, so she does bring an intensity with her, but what she is inviting us to do is to tune into our deepest fears, what we have had buried in our psyche, so that we can, as we're coming into the darker part of the year, we can really do the work to clear the space so that we can plant the seeds and create new things, from that space that's been created. So yeah, it's all divinely perfect, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's all for now. I think I'm gonna log off. I think that's enough for today. Yeah, big cycle ahead of us, but I really enjoy the Virgo energy. Obviously my South Node being there, and gosh, I just like making potions and cleaning. Oh gosh, it's like, wow, I can really get into it. So yes, while my little ones are out, I might now finish the rest of the afternoon by cleaning the house. Very Virgo, isn't it? So yes, I think that's all, my loves. So yeah, happy new moon for yesterday, and yeah, I'll see you all in a few weeks. So much love. Mwah.